Hello, this is Brian Smith from Invacara's Consulting Services team, here with another BIM Assure hot topic. For this hot topic, we're going to explore how to make a slice from room elements. So to set this up a little better, I'm going to create a quick scenario here. I'm going to jump to the room 1509, which is a little triage room. And I want to see the room and everything that's in it. So I'm just going to real quickly do that. And the challenge is, this is a temporary view, meaning if I were to reset the elements, everything would come back. Or if I were to refresh this page or navigate away and come back, I would have to recreate this view condition because I'm just toggling the visibility of elements. But what if I wanted this to be persistent? So I want a slice where anytime I were to navigate away or reset or refresh, I can easily recreate this condition and we can run analyses and reports against this. Now, in a previous hot topic, we looked at how to create a slice out of specific elements. And the way that we did that is we looked for a unique identifier within an element. In that case, it was the Revit element ID. And we just basically went around and looked at the object properties for the different elements. And we grabbed the Revit element ID and made a list of all the IDs. And that's fine if your room or whatever you're making your slice out of only has a few elements, but with this example, there's probably around 40 different elements here that are all associated with this. So I'm just going to reset our view here and clear out some of these things because what we need to do is somehow or another find an easier way to collect the Revit element IDs of all of the elements that was in that space. And I'm going to do that with an analysis. So let's take a look at our analyses that we have here. And I have an analysis that's called Get Spatially Contained Elements. Now, for me, this is more of a utility analysis. Let's take a look at what this is going to do. I'm going to look at the rule here from rooms, so I'm getting all the spatially contained elements from a room. I could also use a space or some other of the fully enclosed spatial elements. And the rule that I'm using is based off the rule definition, check multiple properties for related element, where the relationship type I have spatially contained by or intersects. So anything that's completely inside the room element or the room element boundaries cross will be what this rule is evaluating. Now for this type of a rule, we have three main areas. We have to define what our parent object is, what our child object is, and the expression which has the test condition in it. So for our parent elements, I'm saying that we're going to use rooms. And I'm using a scope property to narrow this down, and I've already keyed it in here, but you can see that I want to find the room that specifically has the number, so the room number, equal to the text 1509. So that's how we can narrow it down to just that one specific room. For the child element, now I'm kind of just doing something tricky here. I'm saying that this room is supposed to include any and every one of these types of elements. So basically everything, architectural, electrical, fire protection, whatever it happens to be. No scope properties for the child elements. And then here's our test, and it's completely bogus. So you can make up anything for something like this, but let's look at a parameter named Invacara, which probably does not exist. And let's see that that is equal to the text BIM Assure, again, which will probably not exist, because what we really want this to do is find all the elements that are contained in here and then run a test on them that we know will fail so that we can then harvest the element IDs a little easier. So it's just a trick. let's see how it works. So I'm going to go up to our models, and we'll use the federated model, and we'll just go over and attach the analysis that we were just looking at, get spatially contained elements, and we'll go ahead and run this analysis. The results are showing us that there are 2 rules there. One of the rules had some failures and it affected 39 elements. Let's take a look at that. So here are the 2 results. So we have the rule from room, and that has our 39 failed elements. And we also have from space. This is orange because we didn't define anything in that rule because we're not working with the spaces right now. We're focused on the room. So I can twirl from room down, and now we can see all the elements that were affected. If I highlight this at the top level and turning off or hiding all of the elements that are not highlighted, now I can see everything that was either completely within the room or touched the room. That's why we're getting the door and we're getting the ceiling and some of the other elements, because it actually crossed over the boundaries of the room. So these are all the elements that we're interested in. And right now, the second, we're kind of right back to where we were, right? So I can see the elements, and if I was manually trying to do this, I'd have to go through and look at the object properties, the Revit element ID, and grab all these like we've done previously. But this is a step that we're trying to avoid. So let's work a little smarter. So what I've done is I've created a report template that's going to help us with this. It's actually an analysis report. And back on the analysis runs page, if I click on the continuation dots here, I can run a report. And the report that I'm using is called Analysis Elements. I can share this with you. Just shoot us an email. We'd be happy to send this out. And it's just a very simple report that's really just going to show us the failed element name and the element ID. So that analysis has run. I'm just going to go up to Attachments, and I would download that analysis. I already have it and already have it open here. So let's take a look at that. So this report is showing us the rules that elements may have failed. I can see the family and type names, so I can correlate to the counts. You can see the number of elements here, and if I highlight all of the number of elements, I can see that there's also 39 elements showing up in the report, so the same number of elements. And then over here you can see all of the Revit element IDs, and this is the information I'm really trying to get down to. So there's a whole lot of ways you can grab this information and put it together, but what we need it in is a single list like this. So just a very simple single list with all of the values comma delimited, so no spaces, just the value and the comma. And this is what's going to make up our unique element list for the slice. So back in BIM Assure, I'm just going to go over to our model view. And now we'll make the slice. So I'm going to click on the continuation up here next to the slice selector, and I'm going to click Create a Slice. Let's make this a little taller so we can see a little better, but I'm going to name this slice 1509 because that's the room that we're using. I could add a description, but I'm going to go straight over here to Scope Properties, and I'm going to add a scope property. And what we want to define is the name of the property that we're using. So the Revit element ID, and I don't have to type it all in. I can just start to type it and then pick it out of the fuzzy search list. So the Revit element ID has to be one of multiple values, and we know that the Revit element ID is a number value, and then I'll just paste in our comma delimited list. And when I click Save Changes, and I can actually go ahead and exit out of the slice editor, let's give us some more room. And now I can zoom in on our elements, and we can see all the elements from our list. Looking in the element browser, you'll notice that there's 39 elements, so we know that they're all here. And now we could create rules that'll look at just this slice, where we can run reports from just the elements in this one room, whatever we would normally do with slices. And that's it. That's how we make a slice from room elements. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just send an email to support@invocara.com or visit support.invocara.com on the web. And we'll see you on the next Hot Topic.